Every gamer eventually faces an inevitable phenomenon: the backlog. That vast collection of games bought, downloaded, and accumulated over time, but never truly played. It's a topic that unites all of us who love video games, sparking debates and discussions everywhere. And if, like me, you're passionate about indie titles, you'll know that your backlog can easily grow into something almost infinite, a mountain of untapped adventures. Today, I want to offer a different perspective. After watching countless videos on the subject, reading dozens of opinions, and hearing a variety of strategies to deal with this digital monster, I've realized that most people approach their backlog the wrong way. I'd like to share how I've learned to see my backlog not as an enemy, but as an ally, a boundless source of joy and inspiration. To understand how to approach the backlog, we need to take a step back to when we were kids. Remember those days? For many of us, buying a video game was a rare and special occasion. We didn't have an endless library at our fingertips, and the few titles we owned became true companions on our gaming journey. We played and replayed the same game, exploring every detail and squeezing every last drop of content it had to offer. Each session brought something new: a hidden corner, a secret, or simply a fresh challenge that made us appreciate that digital world even more. And you know what? That was enough. We didn't need anything more to feel fulfilled. Each game left us with a sense of completeness, as if we had truly lived and experienced everything it had to give. Then came Christmas or a birthday, and we'd get a new game. And so the cycle repeated itself. We devoted all our time to that title, exploring it deeply, and drawing maximum enjoyment from it. There was something magical about that approach, an intimate and profound relationship with video games that, sadly, seems to have been lost today. But today, things are different. We've grown up, we have disposable income, and we live in an era where sales, bundles, and seasonal offers constantly tempt us. For just a few dollars, we can add dozens of games to our digital library, often without giving it much thought. The result? A backlog that grows endlessly, a list of titles we don't even know when we'll have time to touch. And here's the problem. Many people start to see the backlog as a kind of to-do list. A checklist of tasks to complete, a burden that weighs us down every time we look at it. I've seen people meticulously catalog their games, using spreadsheets to calculate how long it will take to finish each title and organizing them by priority. Others set personal challenges, like finishing a certain number of games within a year, or adopt scientific approaches to pick games based on efficiency. But is this really the right way to live our passion? Are we sure that turning our backlog into a series of objectives to check off will make us happier? I don't think so. And I'm convinced that in this approach, we've forgotten what made us happy when we were kids, playing purely for the joy of it. It doesn't matter how many games we finish in a year. It doesn't matter if we have a perfectly organized library or meet arbitrary goals. What truly matters is our relationship with the game, the connection we're able to build with each title. When we treat the backlog as a list of obligations, we lose sight of why we started gaming in the first place. We forget that the fun doesn't lie in the number of games completed, but in the quality of the time spent in a virtual world that excites us, involves us, and makes us dream. Here's my take. The backlog isn't an enemy. It's not a problem to solve or a challenge to conquer. To me, the backlog is like a well of wishes. It's a collection of opportunities, an endless reserve of possibilities that I can explore whenever I feel like it. Picture this. You've had a tough day, you're tired, and you're looking for something to help you unwind. Instead of seeing the backlog as a mountain to climb, think of it as a library of stories waiting to be lived. Choose the game that inspires you at that moment, the one that feels most in tune with your mood. There's no need to stress about completing everything. Every game you decide to start is an opportunity for enjoyment, not a duty to fulfill. For indie lovers, this philosophy is even more important. Indie games are often little gems full of creativity, innovation, and originality. New ones are released every week, and resisting the temptation to add them to our collection is nearly impossible. But that's okay, because in the end, the backlog doesn't have to be finished. Personally, I never want to finish my backlog. That would be a problem, not a victory. A completed backlog would mean I have no more games to discover, No more worlds to explore or stories to live. And for a gamer, that would be truly sad. So here's my advice. Let go of the pressure. Stop seeing the backlog as an enemy or a burden, and start thinking of it for what it really is: a resource, an infinite source of fun and inspiration. Enjoy the games that speak to you, one at a time, without anxiety or haste. Rediscover the joy of diving completely into a title, of exploring it at your own pace, just like we did when we were kids. And most importantly, remember this: the backlog isn't a limitation. It's an open door to new adventures. And as long as we have a backlog, we'll always have something to discover, to love, and to remember.